Hello everybody, welcome back to Unit 6 Learning of the OpenStax 2E online textbook. Again, my name is Prescott. I'm here at Succinct Psychology, or Psych-Synct, and we are going to continue where we left off in the last video. In the last video, we went over what exactly is learning, and we reviewed and went more in depth about classical conditioning. And so now we are going to start where we left off last time. We briefly went over behaviorism, John B. Watson, and we're going to discuss his study of little Albert. So, little Albert. So Watson exposed little Albert to certain stimuli and conditioned him to fear them. So he was presented with neutral stimuli like a rabbit, dog, cotton, wool, a white rat, etc. So Watson then paired these with a loud sound every time little Albert touched the stimulus that caused him to feel fear. After repeated pairings, little Albert became fearful of the stimulus alone, such as the white rabbit. Although initially conditioned to fear specific stimuli, they were all furry, and therefore through stimulus generalization, and remember that's like, when you're taught, oh, you should fear this one spider, and you end up fearing all spiders because you generalize. Little Albert came to fear furry things, including Watson in a Santa Claus mask, which you can see here. There's no evidence whether little Albert's fear was long-lasting or not, which this study would not be able to be conducted today. It is not ethical to teach a child to be terrified of everything cute and fluffy. So going on, we have operant conditioning, and operant conditioning is a theory proposed by D.F. Skinner. In operant conditioning, organisms learn to associate a behavior and its consequences with reinforcement or punishment, and it is based on the law of effect. Pleasant consequence / desired result equals behavior is more likely to occur again. Now, an unpleasant consequence or an undesired result is behavior is less likely to occur again. And I'm sure you've all experienced this in your own personal lives. You do good on a test, your parents, or you win a football game or any kind of sport, your parents take you out to a nice dinner. That encourages you to continue that behavior, to do good on your next test, or do good in your next game or sport. Now, the unpleasant consequence or an undesired result would be getting your computer taken away or your Xbox taken away for a week because you failed an exam or you got bad grades or you did something bad at school or in the neighborhood, something like that. I'm sure that's happened to everybody, hopefully not just me. So, for example, here, when we show up to work, which is behavior, we get paid, which is a pleasant consequence. So we continue to show up to work because we want to keep getting that pleasant consequence that resulted from our good behavior. So Skinner conducted experiments, mainly with rats and pigeons, to determine how learning occurs through operant conditioning. So operant conditioning terminology. So you have positive, which is to add something, negative, which is to take something away, reinforcement, which is increasing the behavior, you're reinforcing that behavior, and punishment, decreasing a behavior, trying to stop them from doing that behavior. So let's continue. So classical versus operant conditioning. So here are the two compared. So the conditioning approach for classical conditioning is an unconditioned stimulus, and again we went over this last video, such as food, is paired with a neutral stimulus, such as a bell. The neutral stimulus eventually becomes the conditioned stimulus, which brings about the conditioned response, salivation. Now, the conditioning approach for operant conditioning is the target behavior is followed by reinforcement or punishment to either strengthen or weaken it, so that the learner is more likely to exhibit the desired behavior in the future. Now, stimulus timing for classical conditioning is the stimulus occurs immediately before the response. Your stimulus is triggered before you elicit a response. But with operant conditioning, the stimulus, either reinforcement or punishment, occurs soon after the response. So classical before, operant after. So here we have the Skinner box. So to study operant conditioning, Skinner placed animals inside an operant conditioning chamber, or Skinner box, containing a lever that when pressed causes food to be dispensed as a reward. So here you have Skinner, and here you have a picture of the Skinner box. So basically it would train rats to, based on either light signals or sound cue, to push the lever a certain amount of times or after a certain sound in order to receive food. So that's how he trained it. He got that reward. And again, they get the stimulus after the response. So reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is something is added to increase the likelihood of a behavior. So everyday examples are high grades, paychecks, and praise. Now, negative reinforcement is something is removed to increase the likelihood of behavior. Remember, reinforcement doesn't mean like that can, I know that can get kind of confusing because you see, oh, negative reinforcement, you're trying to reinforce a negative behavior. No, it's just negative, again, means to take away something to increase the likelihood of behavior. Negative is taking away, positive is adding. So negative reinforcement is just you're encouraging a behavior by taking away something. So an example would be the beeping sound that will only go away when you put your seatbelt on. So that, annoying beeping sound, it's encouraging you to put on your belt, so then you don't have to listen to that anymore. So it encourages the behavior of wearing your seatbelt. Now, sticker charts are a form of positive reinforcement and a tool for behavior modification. Once this little girl earns a certain number of stickers for demonstrating a desired behavior, she will be rewarded with a trip to the ice cream parlor. So that is a positive reinforcement. She's adding the stickers she's adding the stickers because she wants to get that reward of getting ice cream, which she gets from exhibiting good behaviors. Next, we have punishment. So positive punishment is something is added to decrease the likelihood of behavior. So for example, scolding a student for texting in class. Now, negative punishment is something is removed to decrease the likelihood of the behavior. So taking away a favorite toy when a child misbehaves. So punishment, again, is you're decreasing. Reinforcement, increasing behavior. Punishment, reducing the behavior. Positive is adding something to decrease that behavior. Negative is taking it away, just like the examples say. So another positive punishment could be, you get, spanked in order to try, you're adding in that physical punishment in order to discourage you cussing out your parents or something, right? So that's punishment. Now, shaping is a tool used in operant conditioning. In shaping, instead of rewarding only the target behavior, we reward successive approximations of a target behavior. So behaviors are broken down into many small, achievable steps and are useful when teaching a complex chain of events and commonly used by animal trainers. So first step, we reinforce any response that resembles the desired behavior. Second, they then reinforce the response that more closely resembles the desired behavior, no longer reinforce previously reinforced response. Third, we then begin to reinforce the response that even more closely resembles the desired behavior. And step 4, continue to do this until only the desired behavior is reinforced. And the way I think of it is like a pyramid. You start off very wide and you narrow to the very top. So step 1, you reinforce the base, any response that resembles your desired behavior. And each level, you're getting closer and closer to your desired behavior until you get to the peak of the pyramid, and that's your desired behavior. And then you just reinforce that. So it differs from the punishment and reinforcement in the sense that it builds up to the desired behavior. It isn't just like, okay, I want you to get good grades immediately. It might be, oh, you get slightly better grades. Like your parents want you to be getting all A's, oh, well, you got B minuses this time around. That's pretty good. Let's try and get better. And they build up, if that makes sense. Now, primary and secondary reinforcers are rewards to reinforce behavior, or rewards to reinforce behavior can come in many forms. So praise, stickers, money, toys, etc. Now, primary reinforcers are those that have innate reinforcing qualities. So food, water, sleep, sex, and pleasure. The value of these reinforcers does not need to be learned. You already know that food and water and sleep and all that is valuable. You need it. Now, secondary reinforcers are those that have no inherent value. Their value is learned and becomes reinforcing when linked with a primary reinforcer. So praise, a secondary reinforcer, is linked with affection, a primary reinforcer. Money is only reinforcing when it can be used to buy other things, such as things that satisfy basic needs, food, or other secondary reinforcers. And tokens are a secondary reinforcer that can be exchanged for other things. Token economies are used in many settings to encourage correct behavior, such as prisons, schools, and mental institutions. So again, primary reinforcers, pretty straightforward. It's just stuff you innately know is valuable. And secondary, like money, has no value by itself, but what gives it value is how it's linked to a primary reinforcer. So, you get $20, you value it because, oh, I can go buy some food, right? Then it becomes valuable. And then, let's see. We'll do this last slide and then I'll end the video for today. So, Reinforcement schedules. The best way to teach behavior is with positive reinforcement. However, there are many ways that positive reinforcement can be administered. So continuous reinforcement is when an organism receives a reinforcer each time it displays a behavior. It is the quickest way to teach behavior. For example, a dog receives a treat every time it sits when it's told to. But timing is very important. The treat must be presented immediately after sitting in order for the dog to associate the target behavior with the consequence. However, if the trainer suddenly stops providing treats, the dog will stop sitting. So another type of reinforcement is then used once the behavior is learned. So continuous is for initially learning the behavior. And that is partial reinforcement. That's what you use after you stop giving the dog a treat every time they sit. The organism does not get reinforced every time they display the desired behavior. They are reinforced intermittently. So there are several types of partial reinforcement schedules. And we will start that on the next video. Again, my name is Prescott. I'm here at Succinct Psychology. This is part 2 of the Chapter 6 Learning OpenStax 2E Psychology textbook. And I hope you guys found it enjoyable and entertaining and maybe a little educational. And hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye.